Okay, here is block number 5. If you want to pause here, set up your drawing, you can look at the block. You can challenge yourself to try to work through this one without the video, which I would suggest you do try. This is the 5th one now. It does have a depth of 1.5 all the way around. So kind of get caught up to this point and then press play and we'll draw through it together, or you can just try to draw through it on your own, fast forward to the end, see if you got it right. Okay? So here we go. Starting point, up 8, over 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Place a dot. Now, this is something that hasn't happened yet. That dot is the end of the negative space, or the point that is furthest to the left and furthest to the bottom. So it's actually going to be this invisible point right here where the shape would start if this wasn't cut out of the bottom corner here. So starting point, I don't actually draw anything there, okay? I have a second thing going on with this shape that I don't believe we have dealt with yet, and that is TYP in a dimension. TYP means typical. So if this is 1 inch typical, that's telling you that anything else on this object that looks the same is 1 inch. That dimension is typical. So that means this is 1 inch, this is 1 inch, and this is 1 inch. And then the side to side one, that's 1 inch typical. So that means this is 1 inch, this is 1 inch, and this is 1 inch. That's what the abbreviation TYP means. Anything you have a repeated dimension in several locations, instead of putting it on every one, you just call that dimension typical. Okay, so back down to my starting point. I'm actually going to, starting point is this invisible corner of the block. So starting point is actually here, and then I'm going to come over 1 inch to actually start drawing. So I'm going to give myself kind of a second starting point. Okay, so that was my starting point, which would be this invisible corner, and then over 1 inch to there's my actual starting point. Okay, now I need to do some math to figure out what the rest of these dimensions are. Width overall is 5 inches minus an inch here and an inch here. So 2 inches. So this should be 3 inches wide. 1 inch, 3 inches, 1 inch gives me an overall width of 5 inches. So here to here is 3 inches. So from what I'm going to call my second starting point, I'm going to go over 1, 2, 3. Because I'm still ratio 1 to 1. I don't think I've said that yet, but I am. Okay. And then after that, I'm going to erase that first starting point just because I don't want it there confusing me. Okay, and then I said all of these cutouts are 1 inch, but this is not 1 inch. We'll talk about that in a second. Okay, so I've got this line drawn. I need these two sides here, and those are 1 inch typical, meaning all those cutouts are 1 inch, 1 inch. So from here, I'm going to come up 1 inch, draw a line, and from here, I'm going to come up 1 inch, draw a line. Okay, that puts me here. From there, I'm going to go out 1 inch either way because that dimension is 1 inch typical. So from here, I'm going to go out 1 inch and out 1 inch. Okay, so you can kind of hopefully start to see this shape building. I need to do some math to get this dimension. 3.5 overall minus 1 minus 1. So that should leave me with an inch and a half. 1 inch, 1 inch, that's 2 inches. I need to be 3.5 overall, so I need to add that leaves me with an inch and a half here. Okay, so from here, I'm going to come up 1.5. And on the other side, 1.5. Okay, and then I'm going to come in 1 inch, in 1 inch. For there and there. Okay, and then up an inch, up an inch. And then just connect the top. Alright, that one's done. Now I need to put my top view above it. I'm going to count up 8, but similar to how we did block 3, if you remember that one. I count up from this, where this finger is, the invisible corner. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to count up from the invisible corner 8 more from here. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's kind of a bad. Did that with my left hand. Let's drop a dot right there. Okay, and then I'm going to draw the top view, the overall outline of it first, and then I'll go back and put the features in. Okay, top view and front view have to be common width, so I know I'm going to be a width of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to double check that, make sure that my sides line up there, because those two views have to be common width, and they do. My depth is 1.5. Overall, I'm going to go 1.5 on both sides. 1.5. Draw in the back side there. Okay, so I have the overall outline of it. I just need to show where these two features are. They're in 1 inch from the edge. I can see that there. Or I can just cheat, find them on the front view, and bring those up to the top view. So I'm going to line my ruler up there, and bring it up. Line my ruler up there, and bring it up. Okay, so there's top view. There's top view. And I need right side view. I'm going to do the overall outline of it first. Well, first I'm going to find starting point. I'm going to start counting from the invisible corner, which is right here. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, I'm going to start drawing right there. Side view and front view have to be the same height, which was 3.5 on the front. 3.5 on the front for my side view. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3.5. I'm going to double check that lines up with my front view, and it does. Okay, now my depth is going to be the same as depth of top view, which was 1.5. I can also find it here. Okay, 1.5 overall. So I'm going to go 1.5. 1.5. Oops, my ruler slipped. I'm going to double check that that's lining up with the front view there, and it is. Okay, so there's the overall outline of the side. Now I need to show this line and this line. I can look over here, glance over here, and I remember that they're in 1 inch from the edges, from the top and bottom. I can also just find those features on the front and transfer them over to the side view. So that's what I'm going to do. There and there. So there is block 5. Erase things that need to be erased, clean your drawing up nice and neat, and that one's done.